You know, I remember the first couple of serves we did with him. He was all over the place. But anyway, he was only a young, I think 5 or 6 year old stallion at that stage, so he didn't know what he was doing. But now we've got it. You know, we understand each other and we know each other pretty well. Here at Clearview Park Stud in Washtike, Timaru, we've got 2 stallions standing here. We've got John Snow, Gr.1 winner, Australian Derby, and this year we've also got Echoes of Heaven. Clearview Park Stud started about 8 years ago. My father bought in a stallion from Australia called Natural Destiny. We were down in Southland at that time. I was living in Australia then. We've shifted up from Otaudau down in Southland up to Timaru nearly 7 years ago. So I came over to help promote Natural Destiny. Started off as a breeding operation for my father. We sort of coexist. He's got the racing team up here now and I look after the breeding operation. Been in the blood since I was born. My father, Bruce, and my mum, Karen, had racehorses back in the 80s and had a couple of good ones. My grandfather had a few Gr.1 winners as well, so I was always in hospitality. Actually, when I left school, I was a chef to start with, then managing restaurants and bars in Australia. And then I decided to make a shift back to New Zealand. Breeding industry is, I guess, creating the life, you know. It's nearly all the horses we've got racing, not all, but generally they're all being bred or conceived or broken in here on the farms. Handling the horses, watching them grow and picking out the fast ones in the paddock. You know, when they're 3 months old, you can sort of just about tell, following their progress. So it's the most enjoyable part. John Snow became part of our roster here 4 years ago. We were approached by Regan from New Zealand Bloodstock. The owner, Bart Zami, flew down and we met him and got talking and we worked out a plan to going forward, and he was pretty happy with the place and wanted to stand John here. And when the opportunity arose, we sort of jumped at it to get John down here, and so we were pretty thrilled. And his breeding, and once we got to know and meet John, is just his temperament it's just fantastic. To have a Gr.1 winner here, it's a massive thrill. Placed in multiple Gr.1 races, he's raced against the best in Australia.
John Snow in front, John Snow from Harper's Choices game. John Snow, another New Zealand victory in the Derby. It's John Snow from Harper's Choice.
To have a horse like John here, it's just a big thrill and very proud to have him. He's been supported pretty well, mainly South Island breeders. Obviously, we have had quite a few from the North Island come down to him though. We dropped the price due to COVID and things like that, so we knew that was going to be a bit of a push. Since probably the last 2 months, I guess, we've had quite a lot, and John's now serving a lot of mares, so this year's going to be as good as the first couple of years anyway. His oldest progeny just gone too, so nothing's been to the track or trials yet, but can't wait for that. I think John's going to bring out his toughness that he showed in his racing career and his temperament. I know when I was talking to Andrew Forsman, a lot of his staff didn't even realise he was a colt when he was racing, and he was one of their favourite horses in the stable. I think their Wi-Fi password's John Snow still. He's out of an O'Reilly mare, who's out of a Zabeel mare, he's by a Frage. He's going to bring a lot of breeding, toughness and temperament to the South Island, and size. Obviously he's nearly just under 17 hands, so he's a nice big strong horse, and he looks like he could still race around the track at the moment. Just a different pedigree to the South Island and another option. There's not that many stallions down here. There's White Robe and Willow Glen and Inglewood, but there's not many other choices down here for South Island breeders without the cost to go to the North Island. So it's just another option and choice for South Island breeders. Oh, look at you now.